Hey everyone, I'm doing something a little bit different today. As a Kiwi, I really like seeing the differences in stores for the US audience, so I'm going to be doing a toy hunting type video today. This is to show the lack of stock that this country has in most of its cities, but I'm also moving away from down here in Southland in a couple of weeks, so this is also just going to be a nice little video to look back on once I've left here. The main mall building here itself is called Invercargill Central. I believe it was a newly established building. It's pretty nice inside actually, at least I think it is. The only stores in here that matter for what this channel is dedicated to are these two stores here, Farmers, a department store, and EB Games, a game store. EB Games paired up with Zing, an Australian brand, for some pop culture items recently. They've got some Disney 100 merch in here, which looks pretty nice, more from that brand in a little bit later. The main section here is this part that covers Star Wars, some Marvel, as you can see some Avatar stuff there. It's basically Disney side of things. Black Series collection always piques my interest. Usually some selected figures have a special sale sticker on, but EB Games also does charge the full recommended retail price on all of their action figures, so the usual price for these is around 50 NZD. That's 30 USD before tax. The McFarlane Avatar line here is clearance. I really do love that line personally. There's a couple of Marvel Legends here, a bit of mishmash of waves. The X-Men figures are really cool looking. I debated getting some of those to help fill out my collection, but not for 50 NZD. And then their other shelves here, excluding the games, is just a mix of various pop culture items. They do sell a range of Funko Pop figures, but I don't like Funko Pops, so they weren't filmed for this, sorry. I think that these Dungeons & Dragons toys here look pretty interesting for what they are, and actually, as of November, these have been clearanced. That actually about does it for the video game store here. Time for that department store with Farmers. I think over my 8 months here, this place has been pretty tragic with their stock of goods that interest me personally. They never really seem to get brand new shipments besides the Turtles, which we do open up with here first. I think Ninja Turtles were quite a hit down here. I think every store stocks something that's been Turtles related, which is pretty cool to see. As far as their Black Series collection goes, this is it. They might occasionally have some more figures, but it's practically just been this empty ever since I moved down here. They charge full price as well, so I can't quite get these Andor figures just yet. Transformers collection here is also quite bare. Here's a random mix of some superhero stuff. There's no Marvel Legends here anywhere in the store. Again though, with the Flash toys, it's cool to see NZ retailers only just started stocking McFarlane toys within the last year, I think. This here is like the young kids gaming section. This country's youth are pretty big into Minecraft, Mario, Sonic, and Fall Guys, etc. So you'll usually find shelves like this in the stores. A really quick glimpse here at the Jurassic dinos from Mattel. These toys are from the Smashers line, but I also really wanted to show off how NZ is selling the Godzilla vs Kong toys. For those who have forgotten, these toys I believe came out 2 years ago, and the stores only just started selling them this year. Farmers is usually known for its clearance aisle, but it's filled with toys that no one ever really wants. The prices take months to end up changing over as well, and these are the exact same items that have been here ever since I moved here in February. Products from the themes that you really like Star Wars, but it's never the exact toys that you want. My partner's pretty big into the girls' dolls, so here's some of that for those interested. Those Monster High ones are pretty cool for what they are, I think. The Barbie movie products have been completely sold out here ever since their launch. And then this is the Lego section. I am really big into Lego as well as action figures, but I've been winding down a little bit so I can try and get the larger sets. Really love the Indiana Jones and Speed Champions lines from this year. Farmers has a pretty okay assortment of sets. They do tend to carry the exclusives, which is a shame for those collectors out there who want to get it for maybe cheaper. We do have to pay Farmers' price for some of these, but that's just the way it is sometimes. A lot of battle packs here, but not the latest released ones. The superheroes collection here is pretty bare. They were on a sale recently though, as you can see. Some Harry Potter and Star Wars sets that share the same shelves. A few of these sets have been out of stock for a while, but Farmers does sell them as exclusives, example here being that tank. And that's it for the main mall. It doesn't take too long to run the circuit. We come here for movies and dinners mostly. The only 3 other stores that interest me are located on the street, and they're actually spread around from each other. This is Toyworld, which would usually be the best place to go to for some special stock. This one's just okay. It's not as great as my hometown ones. They are a lot more passionate for the Turtles here. In fact, they stocked this series a whole month before anyone else did, and this is where I happened to buy my ones. They have a pretty lonely assortment of the retro series of Spider-Man toys here. These were randomly stocked just a couple of months ago actually. They didn't have these at the beginning of the year, but they ended up putting them out around August, I think. This Toyworld has had some really great individual sales, which I will get into in a little bit. Toyworld, like EB Games though, charge the full retail price though, so it's 45 NZD for these guys here. Some other superhero stuff and mixed brands. Here's like a Batman and a Catwoman, but only the Catwoman is on sale. Their Transformers collection differs from everyone else. They've got those cool retro ones, and then I spotted here the G.I. Joes based on the Snake Eyes movie. They were all clearance to just $10 each. Pretty great sale, you save 40 NZD on these guys. They also had quite a lot of these Destro figures here from the regular line. 70 NZD for these guys though, but just last month they finally dropped down to only $5 in clearance, so I do have one of these guys in my collection now, as well as the rest of the movie wave. A couple of Star Wars Black Series figures and vintage ones here as well, occasionally on their own sales. That's about it for the Toyworld though. I've definitely bought a lot more from them this year than I have the other stores. Way over on the other block though is the warehouse. This place has completely won me over countless times this year. They've been the most interesting as far as stock and resupply and sales go. They carry just about everything, and everything is also sold at a lower price than retail anyway, usually around 10% off or so. Sometimes though, the stock is pretty rough. As of recording this in September, it was really brutal. This was their Star Wars collection, but since then they have restocked with the Ahsoka wave and such. There's a couple of vintage collection figures here as well. Some Star Trek figures which are new for this video. All of these dropped to, I want to say, around $5 at one point as well, maybe a month or so later. Most of these figures here are gone by now. Masters of the Universe and He-Man toys also sold at a clearance price, mostly gone by now as well. For the clearance price, they looked really great, but most of those key plays sold out pretty quick. The superheroes line here at the warehouse are mostly toys for younger kids, these giant Titan series type figures. It's just not for me. Warehouse didn't stock any of the Mutant Mayhem turtles for a very long time here. They only sold these retro ones here, which are cool, but I just prefer the new ones more. They sold these little ripcord ones and these big pullback toys for quite a while as well. No actual figures for the movie until later on in the month. Like I said, the superheroes line is mostly for the younger crowd here. They did sell the Marvel Legends retro figures for quite a while though. I managed to get my Lizard figure from here. I got Hammerhead as well from the retro line. The X-Men 97 figures were all bought from here. They haven't been restocked and I don't think they will be. Transformers at this certain point in time was also bare. They did have a good collection of toys here for a while, sold at a 50% clearance. I think they did that during the school holidays though. I really love the Hasbro Indiana Jones line this year. This is the only store in the country that was selling this full collection from Hasbro. They're not selling now, despite how much I really like the theme. Barbie stuff, again, pretty popular here. The movie toys have been gone for a very long time now. This here's the same company that made those Disney 100 figures at the beginning, I believe, so they've also done some WB ones, but only sold here at the warehouse. And then the theming just kind of ends here. Some stock is all jumbled together for space reasons on the shelves here. We've got some weird sections here where again, it's just everything kind of jammed together. You've got babies toys and Barbie dolls, but also in the same aisle as Lego Mario on clearance. There's some DC Super Pets there, the Jurassic Dinos and a Loki figure and an Ursula, but they're not on clearance. It's a strange aisle. The sides of those aisles there featured the Mario toys. There's some course building items. We seem to stock a lot of the Mario stuff here, and a quick look at the Lego, which wasn't my main focus of the day. Our regular retails began selling the Lego exclusive sets I think a year ago or so, which means that these hard to find sets have become cheaper elsewhere and more readily available as well, which is great for people like me. That's the main section here done of the city, so I have to walk back to the main mall exit here. I then have to walk some way a little down the street here to get to the last department store. This is Kmart, which is a much better store in Australia than it is here in New Zealand, but we'll go there anyway. It's built on top of a little tiny food court that pretty much just sells Asian cuisine. And I have to say, it's a pretty good place actually for some stock of Lego, better than most. They also charge whatever they want for prices most of the time. Sometimes the set, weirdly enough, is a lot more expensive here, and sometimes it's just $30 cheaper for no reason. They also tend to do some more regularly selected items on sale as well. I think Kmart is probably one of the better places to go for girls' toys. Again, Barbie movie and Monster High dolls, they look really cool, but the stock is just all over the place at most of our stores, so it is cool to see a pretty good collection here. Now, as far as what I'm personally into, Kmart I think is the worst store to go to. They do have a good amount of things like Beyblades, Bakugan, and Transformers toys. Usually, I'm just not into all that though. They did sell Black Series toys here once in February. I bought them for my birthday because they were on a sale, and they have just never restocked Black Series ever again. So it's been around 8 months since then. And that is the entire city and all of the stock available at my local retailers. It basically takes me around an hour to walk around the whole city looking at all those toy stores. And those are the only retail stores that the city offers. It would take around another 2.5 hours to drive to the next city with the exact same stores, and it's highly likely that the stock would be the exact same at those cities as well. So I do most of my collecting for this channel online because of this. I hope you enjoyed this little showcase of what it's like to be a collector living in a small town in New Zealand. If you enjoyed this video, liking and subscribing does help to support this channel.